Welcome to Game Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. It's Mike Anastasia. With me today we have Nick.
Hello.
And Brandon.
Yo.
And we're here talking about games and things.
Yes.
What's on the agenda this week? Calisto Protocol came out. That is new and exciting.
Yes, it is.
I also played a little bit of Darktide, Warhammer 40k.
Is that new? I don't even know.
It literally came out the same day as Callisto.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's new and exciting.
Oh, yeah, it did.
And then I don't know. Pokemon, Splatoon, news. That's what we're looking at for this episode.
Yeah.
You guys ready to get into it?
Yes.
All right. You guys can fight for whoever goes first.
Nick, I want to talk with you about Callisto. Let's hear it.
Okay.
I'll go Callisto first.
Uh-huh.
All right, so to temper any expectations, I did play it for about 15 to 20 minutes on my friend's PlayStation 5.
First question.
Yes.
Do you feel the need to play any more after that 15 to 20 minutes?
I do, actually.
Okay. Well, that's good. All right.
I will also start this off by saying I've seen the major issues that the game has been having on multiple platforms, mainly PC, I believe it is.
Oh yeah. This has been good.
So, and I think it's something specifically to do with they fucked up the shader rendering. So like the game doesn't preload basically anything.
Yeah, it doesn't preload any kind of shaders whatsoever.
So great.
Imagine like trying to load up a game, but every time something new is seen, the game stutters. So every time you see anything that's new, the game stutters, which is hilarious because, hey, new jump scare? My screen just froze for like 3 seconds. Shit.
Yes. Typically, to get technical, typically what a game will do is if it senses the player getting close to something like a room or like a trigger or something like that, it will load whatever that thing is into the system's memory cache and then be like, all right, cool, did they trigger it? Nope, throw it away. If they do, let's run it because we already have it loaded. Yep. So they completely borked that portion of it, like 100%.
Oh yeah.
Again, I think it's mostly on the PC. But my friend not
PS5. Xbox Series X also had a lot of issues where parts of the game weren't loading in correctly, and then it couldn't maintain even like 30 FPS at times. It was all over the place, and its frame pacing was bad. And the person who I played it on on his system, he was telling me that he's been having like those same kind of stuttering issues and things of that nature. I will say, in the time that I had with it, it feels clunky. Yeah.
Which is feels like the wrong way to go about it, but also feels like the correct way to describe it too, because it's very much so Dead Space. It's kind of how Sunny D is to orange juice. Have you ever how the joke is with Sunny D is somebody bet somebody to make orange juice without using any oranges, and that's what Sunny D tastes like. The Callisto Protocol is somebody dared a dev team to make Dead Space, but take most of the things that make it Dead Space out of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the names of the enemies are. I just know that they're mutated people, kind of like Dead Space.
I don't either.
Yeah. I found myself I was just absolutely firing bullets into this one thing, and it wasn't dying, and then it seems like the game itself has a huge focus on more hand-to-hand and quick-time events.
It does.
Which I thought was interesting.
Yep.
Because 9 times out of 10, most of my fights ended up with me hand-to-hand combating with this whatever the things are. And a quick-time thing would come up, but there'd be no button prompt, and I had no... I was trying every button.
Your dodges, is that what we're talking about?
I guess that's the little blue circle that pops up when you're smacking them. But it doesn't say it doesn't say dodge or whatever button to press. So it's a shitty QuickTime event. So that was annoying because a lot of my deaths that I had were just from the controls not being... And this was partly on my friend because he just kind of dumped me into a certain section of the game and didn't tell me how to do certain things. But at the same time, I think the game should be a little bit more intuitive as to what you're supposed to do at certain times. It wasn't very clear what button or what I'm supposed to do. And then as for anything else that I was really messing around with, you do get a like telekinetic thing like in Dead Space 1, but I forget what they call it in this. It's not the same, obviously not the same name, but you get it like in the exact same fashion like you find on some dead guy's hand. The environments are they're fine. It's pretty much what I expected from the game. But it the entire time I was playing it, like I said, it felt like Dead Space Light or like a game. I mean, obviously it's a game that's inspired by Dead Space, but you wouldn't have assumed it was made by a lot of the same people who made the original game because of just how like messy it is. It feels like it doesn't know what it wants to be. It doesn't know if it wants to be its own thing. It doesn't know if it wants to be Dead Space. It's just kind of there. So
yeah. So what I've heard from everybody that has played it or is, you enjoyed your 15 minutes of playing the game. You liked that. All right, now stretch out that 15 minutes to about 8 hours worth. That's the entire game.
Yeah.
It never changes up. It never stops doing the melee. It never gives you more powerful guns to the point where you can actually do the decapitations and stuff without using melee. It never gets to a point where you're not dodging left, dodging right, swing, then do button input that is a button input of a QuickTime event. It never changes that.
Jeff Keighley should put this on the game of the year for
8 hours of the game.
For fighting game versus Sifu.
Honestly, yeah. Honestly, yeah. I watched someone play it by just going in, doing a 1-2-3 hit combo, shooting them with a gun, which then staggered them, which then allowed them to do a 1-2-3 hit combo, then shot them again, stagger, 1-2-3 hit combo, and just beat the entire game on the hardest mode by doing that.
Oh, did they not do the glitch?
I don't know what the glitch is.
Beautiful. So there's a glitch in Calisto Protocol where you can play the entire game on the easiest mode, and then there's a cutscene between the final boss and like the last thing of the game.
Oh, and you can change it there,
and if you
because
change
the
your
final boss
difficulty,
is absolute bullshit. Yeah,
and if you change your difficulty, you get the trophy for beating on the hardest mode.
Yeah, and the boss is such bullshit that people are like, "This is so dumb."
So like, don't go into this game expecting Dead Space because it's not Dead Space at all.
It's also not good. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you that. My friend that was super excited for this game, before he got to the end of it, he was like, I don't even want to play this anymore. It's just bad. Like, it's jank. It's jank in a way that feels like it wasn't made by the people that made Dead Space. No. It feels like it was made by amateurs at some points in times, aside from the incredible graphics. Because the graphics for this game are absolutely insane.
Oh yeah, they're completely, the graphics themselves are completely fine. This is, the game has to work. So like I said, don't go into it expecting Dead Space. It seems like it's weird because it seems like they focused more so on like specific parts of Dead Space that nobody really gave a shit about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love Dead Space 1 and 2. I can't tell you how many times or like how many deaths from that game that I liked. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't play that game for the death animations. I played the game because the game was fucking good.
Yeah.
So it seems like for whatever reason they're like hard focusing on death animations for some reason, which is like really odd. They didn't copy the best part of Dead Space, which was the fucking plasma cutter.
Yep.
Like, if you're gonna copy anything, copy the plasma cutter. Because in the first game, there was the trophy or the achievement on Xbox to play the entire game with the plasma cutter. I did that by accident because that gun fucking rips ass. It's great. So like they didn't copy that, which I guess might have made it too close to like I don't know. And I think this one takes place in like a outer space like prison because like the main character was wearing like a prison jumpsuit. And I guess, like, from what I could gather in the little bit of time that I played, it's like they're prisoners, and they were probably, like, experimenting on the prisoners, and oops.
Oh, it was supposed to... I mean, if you recall, this game was supposed to be a game that took place in PUBG's universe.
Yes. Yeah. And they were probably like, listen, Chief, we don't even know how to tie this in. So, like, if you really want to play this game, I would say probably wait for a pretty decent sale.
Oh yeah.
And also wait for it to be like working,
playable. Yeah, there you go.
That too.
If you want to play this game, wait for it to be playable.
You know what this game did? This game made me just more excited for the Dead Space remake. That's all it did.
Yeah.
I don't know if the people that made Dead Space can't make a good Dead Space. Will the people that ruined Dead Space make a good Dead Space?
But see,
I mean, the people who ruined Dead Space made the Callisto Protocol.
No, they didn't.
Visceral?
Bro, that game was ruined by EA and their absolute need to make it as greedy as possible for Dead Space 3. Do you not remember what happened in Dead Space 3?
I do, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the microtransactions and all that shit was not what made that game bad. What made that game bad, it was as a action shooter. It was mainly the gameplay that pissed me off with that game.
EA said, and I quote, that the survival horror genre is dead, and that's why Dead Space 3 was made into an action shooter. On top of that, EA also said that they needed to keep it monetized, so they charged for ammo. That game was destroyed by EA.
So hear me out.
Do you not think they'll fuck it up again?
Hear me out, right?
Yeah.
Even if Visceral was forced to make Dead Space 3 an action shooter, you can still do like a good job. They did not do that. The story was ass. The gameplay was ass. Like, that game was ass.
Yeah,
from all parties.
The only thing I disagree on was the DLC for Dead Space 3 was phenomenal.
See, I never played that.
Yeah, and that section of DLC might be some of the best Dead Space out of all three series, but nobody played it.
If you would have told me that Need for Speed, is it Unbound, Unhinged, some shit? I don't know what the fuck it is. Yeah, if you would have told me that Need for Speed Unbound, the Callisto Protocol, and Darktide Warhammer 40k, which is just a new version of Left 4 Dead, essentially, we're all going to release on the same day, and the EA game was going to be the best out of all of them, I would have told you you're fucking stupid. But that's how it turned out.
So I mean,
maybe you do have a point. That's what I'm trying to say. Maybe you do have a point.
Here's my thing, right? Let's just look at the Dead Space remake in its raw parts, right? They don't need to write a story because it's already been written.
Yep,
that's done. The engine is Frostbite engine.
No, they have a new engine. They were showing it off, weren't they?
No, they use this Frostbite engine.
No. It's a brand new engine that's never been used before, I thought. They keep showing off the engine. They've been doing like literal deep dives into how it works and the ray tracing elements
it's like
and everything.
It might be like a newer I guess it might be a newer version.
Let's find out.
And what I will say, earlier this week IGN put out like the first 18 minutes of the game. Looks phenomenal. Honestly looks phenomenal. They gave Isaac a lot more personality. He isn't like super talkative, but he does interact with the people, and he actually has some voice lines now instead of just being like almost a silent protagonist. So I'm like super excited because it looks great. It seems like it's going to be really good.
It's the 5th generation of the Frostbite engine.
Yeah.
So yeah, also, that's what it is.
From what they're saying so far, this will not have any microtransactions in it because that was one of the big negative things from Dead Space 3 like you were just talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
So, I have very high hopes for it.
Okay.
I need this game to be good. I need the Dead Space remake to be good because I love Dead Space 1 like a lot. So, I would say if you want, save your money for the Callisto Protocol and just wait like another month for the Dead Space remake?
Yeah, it's in January, isn't it?
Correct. Now, just to give you a little bit more, they did say no microtransactions, right?
Yeah.
However, they did release today not a roadmap, but like different skins for the game that you can get from right now. You can only get them by getting it through EA Play Pro, the EA Play Pro edition.
Okay.
So they're not available for purchase, but to get these suits, which I will post in the general chat because there's one that I actually absolutely love. you have to get specifically the EA Play Pro edition.
Interesting.
The infested suit's fucking great. I love that suit. So will these become microtransactions later? Are they purchasable in game, and these are just unlocking them for you from the rip? I don't know.
Pretty cool suits.
Yeah, no, they're all like really cool. The Lone Survivor one's really cool because he's got like random body parts hanging from him. He has like an antler made out of hands.
Yeah,
really fucking weird. So I don't know, but yeah, Callisto Protocol. It's whatever. It's very whatever. I was hoping for more. But,
yep.
Did
so
not.
Everyone else.
It did not deliver, and I don't know whose fault that is, but yeah.
Yep.
Fortunate. I mean, it was a very hyped game for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I was very excited for it. So
yeah, I was too. I'm still probably gonna check it out myself just to experience and see how I feel. Because you know what? So far, I've liked really bad games this year.
Yeah.
So you know
what?
What?
Listen, is it on? It's not on Game Pass, is it?
It is not, or else I would have already played it.
Well,
easily.
We're at that time of year where brand new releases go on sale in like 3 days, so just give it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I mean, they just
true.
added the Skywalker Saga to Game Pass.
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited for that. I'm gonna try that out. But no, let's head over to me for a second, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I'll talk about the new game I did play, and I will go into a little bit of information about something else in just a moment as well. All right. So, first new game that I played was Warhammer 40k Darktide. This game makes me so sad.
Really?
It's almost there. It's almost there to being exactly what I want. This game essentially is Left 4 Dead, but in the Warhammer universe.
Okay.
It's very fun, but they just haven't launched with the correct options right now. First of all, no single player whatsoever. Not even with bots. You are required to play online. So that kind of already puts a damper on it, in my opinion. Second of all, no private online, so you have to play online with randoms, no matter what. So again, puts a damper on it. I played 2 stages with 2 of my friends and 1 random. Now, it's a 4-player game online, and it's 4 players always that's required at this moment in time. And I'll get back to that in just a minute. With the 4 players always being required, I found it was very easy for that single random player to ruin my game every single time.
Yeah.
Because essentially, if someone's played the game a lot and they know where every single ammo pickup can spawn, and they run ahead and grab all of the ammo pickups, they can just make a mad dash to it and take it all from you, and you can be left with absolutely nothing, holding your dick out in the open. Oh. So when someone's literally rushing and grabbing all of the ammo, this happened twice, by the way, in our 3-hour experience of playing this game. And everyone just runs ahead and grabs the ammo from you, and you're left with no ammo and having to fight with melee only. It's not fun. It's really not fun when you have like fucking hundreds of monsters around you and you really can't kill them because you're stuck with a single melee weapon because some dude took all of the ammo. And that really, really puts a damper on my enjoyment of the game. Granted, other people have brought this up to them, and they have apologized for not launching with it at the start, but they will release a bot mode before the end of this month, as well as not a solo mode. Solo mode is also in the future, but they will also release a private server mode where you can just play with your friends and no one else. So that's good. But right now, it's really hard to experience the game if you get queued up with someone that has like played a shit ton, and there's no like matchmaking in the normal fashion where it's like, oh, people that haven't played the game, let's put them together. There's none of that. So it was really hard to even like explore the world or the game itself and learn stuff about it because of the fact that we just didn't have the time. We couldn't because we had that one person that was just rushing their dick off trying to get everything and get out of there as fast as humanly possible. And I'm just sitting there like, guys, can you like fucking quit? Like, I would like to enjoy the game. I'd like to actually get some ammo. I'd like to actually have the ability to fight these monsters. And you don't when you deal with a community like that. But I think in the future, this will be a very good game. It looks really good. Like, it looks really good. It plays just like Left 4 Dead. So if you like Left 4 Dead, well, there you go. Like, that's that's going to be your bread and butter. You're definitely going to enjoy this game. And I mean, like, the general gunplay of it is a lot of fun. The issue, like I said, is just having to deal with having randoms in your party. And like I said, one single person can ruin the entire game for everybody. So that sucks. I'm going to come back to this later. Like, I'm going to come back to this game later on and hope they've kind of got everything straightened out by the end of the month, like they said they would. And then I'll check back in with you guys about this game, because I really wanted to enjoy this game, but it was just not possible because of that shit, essentially. So that sucked. I will talk about one other game. I wasn't going to talk about this because it's not technically a new game, but it is. So there was an update for Fortnite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's now running on Unreal Engine 5. And it looks actually fucking incredible. Like, I'm going to show you it, Nick, and I'll show it to people here in chat. But essentially, they've added all these DirectX 12 and Unreal Engine 5 elements now to the game that makes it look so much different from the way it was before, to the point where it looks like a completely different game now when you actually play it. And, I mean, it's kind of awesome. Like, it really is. So, I'm just going to link you guys this guy's Twitter real quick. I'll put it in general. There you go. All right. So yeah, just look at some of that. That's Fortnite now, running on Unreal Engine 5, and it is insane.
That's pretty crazy, actually.
Yeah, so you've got like 100 players, and you've got like global illumination, like higher than it's ever been before. You got like ray tracing, like light rays, as well as like all of this shit. It just looks incredible, and it's really neat. And that was just something I wanted to mention, because I think this is the first official Unreal Engine 5, and I think this is even 5.1, which is higher than just Unreal Engine 5, running on anything, next-gen consoles or PC. And as such, the things that they have done here technologically is really cool. Also, the new Battle Pass has Doomslayer in it, so that's neat.
It does.
All right, that is what I have done this week, and that is it. That is all I have done.
All the things.
That was everything.
All right, well, I'll talk about my things now.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, Nick, did you play any more Pokemon?
I did.
Last week? Where are you now?
I finished it.
Oh, you finished it?
I
Nice.
did, yeah.
Are you sure? Did you
I rolled credits.
No.
Yes, I'm going back right now and rebeating all of the gyms.
Oh, nice. How did you like it?
It was good. The ending threw me for a fucking loop.
Yeah, I thought
it was good.
Honestly, I thought the story for this game was like probably one of the more satisfying Pokemon stories, personally.
Yeah. I don't know. It was good. The Elite Four was, I mean, I don't know if it's because it's my own Pokemon, were just fucking great, but they're pretty easy.
Yeah, it was not a difficult Elite Four this time. They also don't have the ability to like re-challenge them like most of the past games.
Correct. Yeah.
But I don't know what it is about. Maybe it's just the sheer amount of Pokemon games that I have played. But I really just don't feel like any interest in any of the gym people or the Elite Four from this game at all. Like they're just kind of like,
yeah. You know what it is? I am interested more so in the Team Star people than I am the gym leaders.
Yes.
And I think that's because the Team Star people are more, to me anyway, alike to the old gym leaders rather than the gym leaders of this game. And what I mean by that is, like, I feel like in past games, like, the gym leaders for whatever gym, like, were always just, like, a super, like, cartooned version of, like, whatever the typing was for that gym.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that wasn't really the case for the gym leaders this time around, I feel. Whereas the Team Star people were a lot more interesting looking and acting.
Too, actually, now that you mention it, too, I think also part of it was they actually gave some of the Team Star members some actual, like, story and motivation.
Yes.
Like, there really wasn't any of that at all for any of, like, the regular gyms.
Correct.
You just didn't really see any of that. But I do agree. Like, they're definitely their characters are more interesting. And, like, their progression is more interesting. Yeah. So, I do like that. They did add, like, a random kind of battle thing to the school after completion as well. So that's kind of like your Elite Four battling replacement.
Yes.
I don't know if you did that yet or not. Oh no, you can't. You can't have done it yet. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of, I guess, something to look forward to. It's not super exciting, but it does, when you complete it, it does unlock the ability to do like the 6-star raids.
Yeah, that's what I'm working towards because I completely missed the Charizard raid.
That's what I was going to talk about because I did the Charizard raid.
And I don't. Was it just last weekend?
They did it on 2 different days. It was the 1st and the 4th, I believe. Why they only did it for like a day instead of being like, hey, we're just going to run it for 4 days? I don't know. It was kind of weird. Yeah. But it was, I said it, I think, last week too. But the Terra raid battles are just like weirdly glitchy. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, the health bars are all over the place.
Yeah, I've had that.
Like, it's lag.
But it's not. But it's not lag. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it because like the bar on the screen when you're looking at it, it can be like it's lying to you. Like it doesn't actually represent anything. But if you go to attack, it pulls up a second bar, and that bar is accurate.
I think what's happening is there's too much things going on at one time, and if you get into a party where the Pokemon are like either have the typing advantage or are just straight up stronger, it has a hard time processing like 3 Pokemon just absolutely dunking on one at the same time. Because I've had it where like I go to do my attack for like the first time and like the bar goes from like completely green full to nothing. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And like I haven't even attacked yet.
But then it'll like pull back up and be like, oh, just kidding. It's only like
just kidding. They put their shield up now.
Takesy backsies.
Yeah. You get fucked, idiot. I don't know about you guys. I feel like the automatic catch is a glitch. I don't know why, but I feel like that's not how those battles were supposed to go.
What do you mean by the automatic catch?
I don't think so. I think it's on purpose.
So
for the Terra raid battle?
Yeah, when you finish the Terra raid battle, when you decide if you want to try and catch it or not, it's just automatically it just catches every time. I
think it is supposed to be like that because
like harder Terra raid battles, it's like that's the difficulty, not the catching part.
Okay.
Well, so in Sword and Shield,
I guess it would be a pain to just interrupt you.
Yeah, play a 4-star and then not get your catch.
That would fucking suck.
That would suck. It would suck. Yeah, exactly.
Terrible.
Especially with how fucking glitchy it is. But
yeah, exactly.
In Sword and Shield, my understanding is if you hosted the Gigantamax battles in Sword and Shield, it was 100% catch rate. And then I don't remember what it was called. The thing they added in DLC, I don't remember if you guys remember me telling you about this, where it's kind of like you do like this interesting kind of like maze thing and you get to like battle legendary at the end. That one was always 100% catch rate in that too. So I think they were just kind of like, if you're going to invest this time into it, we might as well just make it 100% catch rate. Especially considering too, like the assholes you got to play with. Like,
yeah,
you can, if you get through the higher stuff, like, yeah, here you go. You want to get? Do you know what my like Charizard defeating Pokemon was?
Was it Meryl?
No.
Ah.
Close though.
Azumarill.
No, not the same line.
Okay.
But you're on the right like track.
Gotcha.
It was Fido.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because it got a really sick ability where it's like you can just absorbs fire attacks.
Yep. The well-baked body ability.
And then because it's fairy type, it's immune to dragon. So it's just like I honestly at least how it looked to me with how glitchy the thing was, it looked like I pretty much single-handedly wrecked the Charizard myself.
Possible.
And then everyone else would just support people.
Yeah, possible. Because I have
they're rooting you on.
I have was it Darkspun is the evolved form?
Oh yeah, that's what I was playing. Sorry, Darkspun. Mm-hmm.
And Darkspun is like a main member of my party because one, well-baked body is great, and like two, he's just tanky. Like I don't know why, but he just take hits.
Oh yeah.
So
the fairy types are like the OP kind of like typing in Pokemon now lately. Actually, my strongest Pokemon in Scarlet Violet was what's it called? It's like Tinkaton.
Oh yeah, Tinkaton's great.
Yeah, that's it. I'm getting me mallet.
Yeah, that is a fucking machine.
You've seen that, right? Oh, please tell me you've seen that.
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
oh my god. Okay, hold on. I got you. I'll get it to you in a bit.
Yeah, let me see. I think my current party, because I actually have my Switch right in front of me.
All right, here you
is Quaxclavel.
In general.
Armourouge.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Doxbun, Arcanine, Scovillion, because Scovillion's also great, and then Tinkaton. That's it. I'm getting me now.
It's fucking Eustace from Courage of the Cowardly Dog is Tinkaton.
The only Pokemon I might swap out of my rotation is the Arcanine, because I don't really need him with Scovillion. So I might go like an electric type.
That makes sense.
Because like Scovillion's great because he covers both of my fire and leaf bases. Mm-hmm. Doxbun's great because he's got Dark, Fairy, and one other move. I forget what those other moves are. Ghost, because I have Lick. Tinkaton has Bug type, Steel type, and Dark type. So like a lot of these Pokemon are weird.
Paradox Pokemon.
Oh yeah. So, but yeah, Tinkaton's great. I also love how Tinkaton's hammer is just made of a dead Corviknight. Because it's like main mission in life is just to fuck up Corviknight.
Is that really what it is? I never even noticed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. I guess they are steel. Yeah. No, so it is good. They had that extra patch come out this week too, and some people were running around like, "Oh my god, the performance is so much improved," but it basically was just because you had to quit the game and start it over again.
Yep.
I'll post this in the literal description for Tinkaton. That this intelligent Pokemon has a very daring disposition and knocks rocks into the sky with its hammer, aiming for flying Corviknight.
I like the Corviknight one too, because it's like Corviknight can't serve as a taxi service in Paldea because Pokemon's natural predators will attack it while it flies, endangering the customer.
It's great. All the good writing in this game went to Pokemon descriptions.
And I mean, it always has been though. Like the Pokedex has always been like excellent if you take the time to read it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like what is it? The Driftbloom like stealing the kids. And
oh my goodness.
Cubone wearing its mom's skull. And, like there's always been like ridiculous stuff in there, but a lot of people are just so excited to get the Pokemon they don't.
Somebody photoshopped Tinkaton as what's his name in Revengeance, and then hold on, I'll post it in here. It's great.
Oh, is it the governor?
I think so. But I like a lot of the new Pokemon they added to this generation. They're quite good.
On point with their designs this time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think the thing that I like a lot about this game was I think the designs were excellent. I think they really just they had a good like theme and keeping them all together. And I also like the ones that they picked out for the game. Two, it just kind of the way that they arranged them, like it felt very natural. It's like, oh, you could guess where the Pokemon were. Like Sword and Shield, like it was just kind of like a crapshoot. You'd just be walking through the field and you could go from two Pokemon that just don't even make sense coexisting together. Just here they are.
I will say there is one Pokemon in this game that absolutely pisses me off of how lazy it was. And that's Flamigo. It's just a flamingo, and all they did was take the N out of flamingo.
To change it to Amigo, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
yeah, no, it's lazy on two levels. But maybe that's its genius. I don't know.
I guess, but like it's just a flamingo. Like there's no like specialties to it. It's just a flamingo.
Yeah, that's your friend, Flamigo.
Yeah, Flamigo. Mm-hmm. It's my amigo.
I mean, I don't know. Paldea and Wooper is literally just like a brown.
Also, I apologize. I keep finding just gold memes of Tinkaton and Corviknight.
They are really good.
I mean, it's not as lazy as like what was it, Black and White with Garbodor was just a pile of garbage.
Yeah,
and like Vanillux was just an ice cream cone.
What's New York known for? Oh, garbage. Here's a garbage Pokemon.
Yeah.
And Sword and Shield, I think was the one that had the keys. Or it was just like a set of keys.
Left key, yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, I don't understand some of I mean, yeah, granted, there's always like some shit Pokemon. But just like I said, I just feel like overall, at least these ones, like, I actually am like, oh, I like this Pokemon, And I don't think I don't know how I feel about the final designs of the starters, but I do feel like they're better than, say, Sword and Shields too.
They were fine, like I said, until my friend pointed out that Quaxquavel has hot dog toes, and then I was like, don't like that.
But it's Peacock, of course.
Yeah, but he's got hot dog toes.
And it's better than Soccer Playing Bunny.
I mean, that's fair.
I don't know. What were the other ones? Soccer Playing Bunny, Sniper Chameleon, and...
Wait, that's not fair, because Inteleon's actually great.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I aside from the sniper gun.
Sniper monkey. And then what was the third one for that?
It was, I don't remember the name. It's the giant
type.
ape.
Yeah. This is Donkey Konga.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I think, honestly, I think he had the best design of the three, but
yeah. That's fair.
But yeah, no. As I said, I really like it. I wish the performance was a little bit better. I wish there was some more of the quality of life changes that they had from Legends Arceus.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, that would make everything better.
I still will say, after finishing this game, Legends Arceus is the better game.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I'm not swayed on that thought at all.
Yeah.
I really hope that the Arceus team takes over whatever the next gen is. Like, don't stick them on another Legends game. Let them just start to work on whatever Gen 10 is.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they at least seem like they're more on top of their shit. And give them the time to do it properly, too, please. That also would be nice. That's another request. Like, don't just rush it out to make it... you can do another season of the anime. It doesn't have to be, strictly...
That or, like, put out another season of the anime, put out new Pokemon, then we have something to look forward to in the next game.
That's true, too. I mean, the DLC for Sword and Shield really didn't put out a lot of new Pokemon. It added a lot of the old ones that were cut out from, like, Dexit.
Yeah.
And I think because it had, the Galarian, Slowpoke, and then it had, like, a few legendaries. But I think that was it. Like, the two new Reggies were in there.
Yep.
And then Calyrex, and then it's, like, 2 horses. I think that was really it for new Pokemon for the DLC.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. There's lots of wild theories going around about what the DLC will be for this game. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Like, obviously, they could do, like, an island. Like, a lot of people thought, like, they might do, like, the Canary Islands or something as, like, an area. And I'm sure probably one of them will be, like, an island DLC. But the other one is, like, realistically, Kalos should be sitting right next to Paldea. So they're like, maybe, like, the other DLC will be, like, the southern part of Kalos, because that wasn't actually part of Pokemon X and Y. Like, you could only go to the top part.
And that'd be cool. I feel like that'd be a cool DLC.
Yeah, I think so too. A nice way to kind of like tie those things in. So, I also feel like that's a generation that could use a little bit more appreciation. I always liked it, but it's the Pokemon games go through the same cycles that like every other series does, where it's like as soon as a new one comes out, like another one's hated instead.
Yeah, I feel like Pokemon fans they can be some of the worst at points.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Everybody shitted on Legends Arceus and everybody played it. And I'm like, it's actually fun.
Yeah, now it's like...
Yep.
Now if you look on Reddit, people are like, oh my god, Legends Arceus is a masterpiece compared to this game that just came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I was saying the whole time. I loved Arceus. So, I mean, that game definitely will be on my Game of the Year list this year. It doesn't feel like came out this year. Like, it feels like...
it's definitely...
Like millennia.
Maybe I'll finish that next.
You should. Yeah. I think that's definitely like a very worthwhile game to play. Even just like little things too. Like, so I was entertaining the idea, and I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, but I've been entertaining the idea about going back through and because they updated Pokemon Home earlier this year with the ability to do like regional Pokedex stuff, where it keeps track of Pokemon that you caught in each region. And I did. Obviously, I went through and caught everything in Pokemon Arceus. So when I transferred in, I got like the nice little crown on it. And I'm like, well, maybe I should go back through and do some of the other ones. And I was thinking about doing it in like Let's Go Pikachu. Because that one I kind of had, I think it was like 90 out of 150. But the thing that was really annoying to me, like from the get-go, is like, I'm like, I don't want to deal with all the trade evolutions. Like, I hate them. And then I was like, oh, wait, there's a way around this. I can catch those Pokemon in Let's Go Pikachu, transfer them to Legends Arceus, and level and like evolve them with the link cord there, and that's all I need to do.
Yeah.
I was like, That's genius. I love that. And it's just nice that game just kind of like took care of a lot of that for everyone. It's like, oh, you don't have to worry about it anymore. Very convenient. So, I don't know.
All right.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything else exciting to say about Pokemon, though. I don't know if you have anything else, Nick.
No, not in particular. Oh, I did like at the end. I mean, not really spoilers. The variants that were in the last area.
Oh, the Paradox Pokemon?
Correct.
Yeah, no, they're great. They're all fantastic.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I caught, I think, most of them, if not all of them. So
the two kind of more powerful ones that are down there, the one for Scarlet and the one for Violet. I think one's Salamence, which is in Scarlet. I love the Salamence. I think it's excellent. And then I think it's Gallade is the one for Violet. It's either Gallade or Gardevoir. I can't remember which one's which. I always get them confused.
Oh, I completely didn't get that one, though. Damn it.
You didn't get the Salamence?
No, I didn't get... hold on. The ones in Scarlet that I did get, I got Screamtail. I got... I think I got a few other ones. I did not get, and I know this for a fact, I did not get Sandy Shocks, and I did not get... well, I couldn't get this one. I'll have to get it from my girlfriend's game. The Iron Bundle, which is Delibird, which looks fucking great.
Yes.
I did catch... Actually, I think that's one that's like normally available. So like I did catch some Pokemon that were down there that were like normally available that I guess I didn't realize. I can tell you what's in my box right now.
Yeah, there's a couple Pokemon down there that you can find that are much easier to find down there than
can you go back to that area once you finish the game?
Oh yeah.
Oh, then I'm fine.
It's much easier once you're done with it.
Yeah, I did catch Fluttermane and Screamtail. Those are the only two I actually caught down there.
Sandy Shocks is the hardest one to find.
I love Sandy Shocks just because of the hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a heavy metal fucking... Love that.
So yeah, no, but they're all excellent. I like the idea of it on both sides. I feel like they could explore it more too. Like honestly, I think that's probably something that DLC. Actually, no, they're going to. It's definite.
See, these variants are the kind of Pokemon stuff that I like.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Because there is in the book that you get, like, I assume that yours is called the Scarlet book or whatever.
Yeah.
Because mine was a Violet book, but in there's pages. There's one for Suicune, a Paradox Pokemon that's Suicune, and then there's one for what's it, Terrakion? It's one of Caldeo's, like the Three Musketeers Pokemon from like Gen 5.
That'd be really cool if we get like Suicune like a Terra raid and like get a Terra type Suicune. It'd be fucking cool shit.
Yeah, no. So they have lots of stuff that they can do with this. So hopefully they take advantage of what they've set themselves up with. Because I think they have set themselves a solid foundation. But instead of rushing to the next generation, they really should just sink some time into this.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting. You'll have to go through and play some more and see the rest of that stuff. Like I said, there's lots to see down there. So, I can tell you right where Sandy Shocks is, too. It's like right by...
I will say, I don't know about you, but I feel like that area is the best looking area of the entire game. Like, I don't know if they just put more time into that area or what it was, but like, it just, to me, graphically anyway, looks better than the entirety of the game.
I think a lot of it is because it's not, unlike the rest of the world, it's not in the open world part. Like, it's one of the few sections that's actually like closed off. So I think they had a lot more that they could do graphically there than they could anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, it looks really nice, and it's interestingly well thought out too, like design wise.
Yes.
In terms of like the levels that are there and just how everything like diversifies and stuff. I do think it's like a really interesting stuff. And the Pokemon that you see there too, it's a lot of cool stuff. Like, it's just fun to go through and just see everything that's there. Mm-hmm. So, and you have to go back down there too, because that's where you catch the extra legendary. So,
okay,
yeah,
Pokemon.
Gotta catch them all. All right, did you play any more Splatoon since the update came out?
No, that actually will be on my to-do list for tomorrow. I was debating on playing today, but I was like, I knew I was close to the end of the game, so I wanted to finish Scarlet, at least from a story perspective, before we got on tonight.
Yeah, I didn't do too much in there. I just played a couple of the Salmon Run things. So I did just kind of because what is it? The new level Marooner's Bay or whatever was up, and they had one of like the all weapon modes in there. So I tried that out. I'm not a real big fan of that stage, but I don't know if it's just because I'm just not familiar with it like I am with the other ones. There's some weird navigation stuff in there. There's some navigation stuff I wish they included. Like there's a bunch of unpaintable walls. Okay. And I'm like, I don't know why these walls are unpaintable. Like I just feel like that would have been an easy thing to make this a little bit more traversable. So it works. But there's that. The new catalog's there. They added a new wonder thing to the app. It's like, I've saved up so many points, I'm sure I can do this right away. No, because they made one that was like 300,000, and then the rest were just like normal price. Yeah. So I still got a lot of that to do. I tried one of the new stages. I think I loaded up the other one, but it like DC'd on me like as soon as it started, so I didn't even get to like play it. But the new stage that they put in, I don't remember what they're called. The one that I did, I thought it was really nicely built. It really just is kind of a nice, easy level, and everything looks nice. The one thing I think is interesting, though, is like now, at least the change to like gameplay, like everyone's playing with the new weapons now. Like everyone. Like I don't feel like switching. I'm still playing with my NZAP, and everyone's just got like all the new weapons. They're like, oh, you've been killed by this. And it's like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And there's those new like sub weapons, which are kind of like targeting like bombs. They're not really like super powerful, but they're just kind of like annoying. Okay. And they're like everywhere now. Like people are just launching them like freaking crazy. So that's fun. Like it's just kind of nice to have like the mix up on stuff. I think my only real goal this season is just to complete the catalog. I don't really feel like super like deeply attached to anything in the moment, but I just kind of want to see what all is in there. But it's nice. At least, like I said, the touch ups that they've done nice. It's still really fun. You can definitely notice the improvements versus like when it came out, and it still seems to be working really well. So that's it. And then the last thing I played was Inscryption. It finally came out.
Let's hear about that.
So it's good. I liked it. Because I would say the game's kind of broken up into 3 acts.
Yep.
I think that makes sense, Brandon. Yeah.
Definitely.
I would say overall the first act is by far the best.
Mm-hmm.
The second act, like it was interesting.
Second act is the I'm trying to remember. The second act's the one where you're inside the like old school 8-bit game or whatever. Yeah. Is that the one? Mm-hmm. Okay, just making sure. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, that's correct. And that one I didn't care as much for.
No, it's not as good. Mm-mm.
Yeah. It's not even the art style, it's the lack of I didn't feel like it was difficult. I feel like
now I have a few questions for you about the third act, I think it is, because that's the one inside like the computer place, right? Is that what I'm thinking correctly, or is that?
I guess that's one way to describe it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. When he asks you to like, sorry, I guess I'm getting minor spoilers. When he asks you to like choose something as like a token or whatever, how does that work? What do you choose? How's that work for? I guess you're playing on Switch, right?
Yeah. Like, how does it decide? What is the thing that you just kind of?
Yeah. What do you do?
He asks for or whatever.
Yeah. How's that?
You
work?
Just have access to the files that are like quote unquote on the computer. Like they made files for.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used a movie. I used a movie from fucking Windows Media Player to fucking give myself a lot more of a chance during that fight. It was actually really cool. So that's why I was curious about that.
Yeah, no, this one gives you like a fake C&D drive, and you can like go through it.
Okay. Yeah, going through your actual C&D drive is really fucking cool. Like that shit was neat.
Yeah, that is. It's kind of what I figured. That one's kind of neat. I also thought it was neat too. Like, there's a battle later where, and I actually took a screenshot of it. It just reminds me, I forgot to send it to you guys. But like, where it connects to the internet and it's just like has your like friends battle against you. Mm-hmm. But like the first battle actually pulled out you and Nick's like Switch avatars.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's pretty funny, actually.
So that was interesting. I thought that whole process was kind of kind of fun. And like the wall breaking, I would say it still was effective. Like you knew what they were going for.
Yeah, no, I understand. I always get curious about things like that because when they transfer from one thing to another, I always feel like it's gonna lose some of its charm, which it sounds like it does. But it sounds like they at least do something both on this and Doki Doki Literature Club to make it still work. So that's neat.
I mean, I guess if they made me pick something on this one, I would just pick like some garbage thing, and I would just been like, whatever. I don't know. They'd be like, oh well, goodbye.
Yeah, no, I picked something that like actually had like significance, and I was like, are they actually going to delete this? Like, you know, if I lose it, that sort of thing. So I was like, all right, it's neat. Yeah. I like all of those elements to it. Those are the kind of things that really have me interested in games. And there's another game that if it does make it to console, I'm going to be curious how it works on console as well, and I'll tell you about that one after we talk about this, because I just found out about it, and it's really neat.
Yeah. So anyway, so I thought the first part of this game was the best. It is nice. Did you get to play, what was it, Kaylee's mod? Did that exist when you played it? I don't think it did.
No, it did not. So I don't know what that is.
So it's kind of like an official, well, not kind of like, it is an official like expansion of the game, which actually turns the first act of the game into like an actual roguelike
full game
experience.
That's neat.
Yeah. So
that released March of this year, and I definitely did not get to play it. I just looked it up.
Yeah. So it has basically it's all random. It's got challenges and unlocks that you go through as you go through. It unlocks some more like story like content because the story is just weird.
That's cool.
Yeah.
The story is weird. But I thought that was a lot of fun, and I really liked how, like, for instance, his videos, like in Chapter 1 that you go through, they definitely seem like something a vlogger would be recording in their room. You know what I mean?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It felt real, and I liked that element to it as well.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was charming. I mean, I did kind of look and see, like, because there was this whole ARG thing that went on behind the scenes or whatever.
Yes, that's what I was trying to explain, but I could not explain it because it was still going on at the time when I originally talked about this being on my Game of the Year list and that sort of thing. The ARG for this game is super interesting.
It is. It makes no fucking sense, though. But I also don't think, like, I think this story makes enough sense on its own, like, standalone, that you can kind of just, like, yeah, you might not understand like some of the intricacies of it, but like at least it still kind of makes somewhat comprehensible sense on its own. So I enjoyed it. Like I said, actually, and I really do. I do think that the mod that they added into it to kind of make that first act just like a replayable experience is a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, you just kind of get jacked on like some of the card draws. So I mean, it's just like any.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a RNG. It's like a card game, TCG, that sort of deal. It kind of is like going for like a Grifflands or a Slay the Spire sort of feel at the beginning of the game, but then. Since it's a Devolver Digital published title, and since it's indie title by the same people that made, why can't I think of the name of it? Oh, Pony Island. They had to flip the script on its head and that sort of thing. So yeah, if you recall, I talked about Pony Island in the past and the Hex as well. I've talked about both of those as well as Inscryption in my Game of the Year during different times when we've done Game of the Year. All of these games are made by the same person that made Inscryption. All of them. They have a history of just kind of making really weird games. And having them be really good as well.
Inscryption are definitely tied together story-wise.
Yes, they are. I don't fully know all the information on it because they were still uncovering at the time. But Pony Island and Hex were already tied together. So all three of them are tied together. So I'm guessing this guy's just building his own universe, essentially, through his games, which is really neat. And I like that.
It's kind of like, I guess if I would describe it somehow, it would kind of be like Black Mirror for video games.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of like the behind the scenes kind of like story aspect of it. But as I say, like it's just so many times where I've like gone through this game and I'll just be like I'll start it up with like the random cards or whatever and be like, I'm so fucked, and then like you can
restart.
Well, no, you can like I've been able to turn it around so many times where I'm just like, yeah, and then I'll get to the end and I'll be like, I am so powerful now, and then like none of your good cards show up, and you're like, the fuck? Like, this is bullshit.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's really enjoyable. I do like it. And just like the way that the game is just so like, because as you play, every time you start over like a new deck. But just the way that the cards are just so like intricately customizable, and like able to make them like, you can basically take any shit card and make it like stupid powerful.
Yep, absolutely. They work off of each other very well. Like, all of them have a lot of like, I don't know, not symmetry. What's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't matter.
Oh, I don't.
They work together. They work together as a whole. That's what I'm trying to say.
I just had it on the synergy. That's the word you're looking for.
Synergy. That's the word. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, no, just everything works really well. And two, like the challenges that they add in, like the mod thing, like they're interesting ones, because you start off at the base with like, what is it? You start off, I think, with 3 items. I think it's like the hook, a squirrel, and
the tooth thing where you can rip your own tooth out and then put it inside the that.
Yeah, and then you even start out with like the clover as just kind of like one of the items you could have gotten originally, which I never got, but it's like unlocked by default in like the mod. But like, so when you do the challenges, it'll be like you have to reach a certain amount of points to like up your like level, unlock the next challenge or whatever. And it'll be like, oh, you can turn off the hook for 5 points. You can take one less item for 5 points. You can turn off the clover for 5 points. Things like that. One of the challenges I just unlocked, so I've only gotten through it like once, was the you can turn all the boss battles are turned into like those totem battles. Yeah, that's what I would call it.
Okay. All right, that's kind of neat. I'll have to check that out.
It's really neat. And honestly, if you liked the game,
I did.
I think it makes it like infinitely replayable.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's just nice to pick it up and just fuck around for a match or whatever. And like I said, it's just fun to just, it gives you the opportunity to play around with more cards, because, there's less, I guess, to lose there except for your time. And because it is like all like randomly like done, you won't even be going through the maps in the same order either. Like maybe the first map you'll play against the Trapper, and then the last map you'll play against the Prospector.
I like this idea.
Sort it around. Yeah, that's really neat.
I'll reinstall it now. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, but I think the game's excellent. I absolutely enjoyed my time with it.
Awesome.
And it was funny too, because when I got to the end, I was like, oh, I finished the game, but I'm like, overall, my favorite part was that first act. And then you get to this part where they just like completely did it through the first act. And I was like, oh, it's fucking excellent. I would like to see, because the other like things were interesting too. And I do think it's kind of interesting that they didn't fully flesh out all of them, even though they did all the work on all of them. Because there was the 4 different kinds of decks that they had built. And you only kind of really get to experience like 2 of them, and only one of them is just kind of like there, which is the best one. But yeah,
I think from the sounds of it, we'll be talking about this game again later.
You mean because you're gonna pick it up? Because you're gonna play it again?
No, because you're gonna have it on your game of the year.
Oh yeah, no, I think.
And that's 2 for 2 with me and suggesting games for game of the year, and then 3 years later them being on the list.
Granted, you gotta play the long game.
I play the long.
It's not about who wins the year you play it. It's about who wins a couple years down the line.
Just gonna subliminally implant it into people's minds, so later on when they check it out, they'll be like, "Damn, yeah, that was good." That's why I can't wait for you guys. Yeah, it was last year, I believe.
No, I was there. I think when it came out last year, I don't think it was anything I could play it on.
No, there wasn't. That's the thing. Every time I recommend a game, I always have one game in my list of games that you can't play yet because it's not on console. So we have to come back to it later just to vilify me for game of the year later on down the road and another game of the year.
I do think it's weird though too, because I think
these are just the things I like because they're fucking weird. I love things that are fucking weird and just interesting, like because it's so different from any of the other kind of games that are out there, and that's what makes it so, just really cool and different. Like it's interesting. It's something different. Finally,
I agree. It is. It's just.
And I think Vampire Survivors will be this year, so that I do that with. And guess what? Leaked DLC for Vampire Survivors. It's already appeared online, so I'm pretty sure on Thursday we're getting DLC for the game. So I'm super excited for that.
It's exciting.
Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry. I know I just jumped in and went ham, but I got really excited because I don't know. There's something about these kind of games where it's just the more abstract and different it is, the more it just clicks with me as something that I genuinely enjoy. So yeah, I'm so glad you liked it. I really am, because damn man, I really want more people to play and experience this game because it's so interesting.
I think so too. I think it's well built. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It just has, I think, some fantastic art designs too.
Absolutely,
that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very interesting world that they've built and some of the puzzles that they've done. I think they're just really well thought out. So
yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I think it was only $20 too. It's just really reasonably priced for everything you get.
Mm-hmm. So can I mention the really weird game I found? Or do you have more stuff to talk about right now?
Yeah, you can talk about the other game. That's fine.
Okay, so I found a game called Weird RPG. Mm-hmm. It's currently only on PC. It's $10. Have you heard about this, Nick? Do you know about this game?
No.
Alright, so Weird RPG, it plays like Diablo, but all of the weapons and abilities and everything is tied to something outside of the game. So, for instance, Weird RPG right now, there is a weapon where let me read it exactly as it's written. Okay. When attacking non-leader targets, it is possible to cause real damage according to the number that is on your graphics card model. So your damage buff is whatever your graphics card is. So if you're a 3080, it's 3080, that sort of thing. But there's another one that's actually really cool. That was I gotta find the exact one because it was so funny when I read it. All right, here it is. This is called Human's Determination. When on equip, it determines the weapon ability based on your graphics card. The better the graphics, the less bonus you get. If you have a 3080 Ti, you have the chance of instantly killing yourself when attacking using this weapon.
Oh my god.
There's another one where the lower your frame rate, the more damage you do. So you can lower your frame rate on purpose by trying to run the game at 8K or capping it at 15. Okay. And there's all these really cool and weird things, and it's kind of like a Diablo but everything is tied to your frame rate or the graphics card you have or screaming into your microphone. So you could cast spells by humming a certain tune into your microphone.
Okay.
Or screaming as loud as you can to continuously keep your speed buff. So you literally have to scream while you're moving your character to make them run faster.
Oh my god.
It's so cool. It just released a few weeks back and no, it released in October. But it is such an interesting and really weird game that kind of flips the script on other games of the style. I went ahead and posted it so you could see it, Nick and Mike. But this is the kind of game that isn't going to be possible on console, but it's so weird that I just love the idea of it. How the fuck would you lower your frame rate on console to get a speed buff? I mean, not a speed buff, but get a damage buff.
Just play it on the Series S or something, I don't know.
You're playing on a Switch?
Yeah, play it on the Switch. The Switch, you know what? No, because you know what, Brandon? It would be super on brand if it was the Switch version, your character does more damage.
Oh my god, it would be amazing. That'd be hilarious. The Switch is just the easier version of the game.
If you play it on Steam Deck, fuck you.
I want to play this. And I also am wondering what happens if you do play it on Steam Deck. How would it even work?
Does it work for Steam Deck?
It says it's playable.
I mean... Listen, Brandon.
I have to do it for science.
I have $5.89 in my wallet.
I have no money right now. It's $9.89, but I would definitely do it for science.
I'm debating. my mouse is hovering because I'm debating.
Dude, if you do it, you gotta let me know what happens.
I will.
Just your graphics card doesn't exist, so you have infinite insta kills.
Oh my god.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Anyway, yeah, that's the one I wanted to bring up because that game just seemed like a really interesting and stupid idea. It looks like fun, but that's just because of the gameplay mechanics. Yep. All right, that's all I wanted to say. You guys got anything else to talk about?
Oh, I said I'm playing something else, but I'll save it for next week.
Okay. Again, sorry for interrupting you. I just really wanted to mention that.
Oh no, you're fine. Like I said I was planning on saving it for next week because I know I'll still be playing it next week.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Is it a new game? Not on this list right now?
Yeah, it's a new game. It's not on this list, and it's another one you guys recommended. You both have played it.
Let's go!
I'll give you a hint. I feel like I've been watching an entire fucking anime series already.
You've been playing Persona 5!
He has been. Wait, fuck you. I saw you on the Switch today, yes.
Is that a bad thing?
Well, not necessarily. So I'll just say, I'm enjoying the game so far, but like the first 5 hours of it is literally just sitting there like watching them talk.
That's true.
Yeah.
But it is like a 300-hour RPG, so, you know.
But listen, I'll save my thoughts for it for next week, but I've been enjoying it. I'll say that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get to news.
All right.
Remember
the news.
First thing I have on there is the Activision Microsoft merger. I missed talking about this last week.
Okay.
But apparently it sounds like it's getting slowed down. Both through investigations through Europe and the US. By the US would be like the
last
FTC.
thing I saw was an update on them being like, yeah, maybe we aren't gonna slow it down, and that was today. So like, I just don't think they can make up their mind.
So, because I guess like they, as part of this merger process, they give companies the chance to like voice their grievances. And there's two grievances that I guess were lodged, and they were from Sony and Google. I don't remember what Google's was. I think it had something to do with Game Pass, if I remember specifically. Sony's was obviously like, it will give them an unfair advantage in the video game market. But Microsoft's counterpoint is like, but we're not even close to your like sales.
Tencent or Sony or anything like that.
Dunked on themselves. Or like, our games are shit.
Yeah.
Which is great because of another news story that we're going to talk about later. But
yeah, and part of their like thing was like they're like, well, we already offered Sony, at least the ability to have Call of Duty on their systems for the next 10 years. So it's not like we're not making some like consolations to them.
Yeah, exactly. If it was Sony, Sony would be like, "Fuck you, Microsoft, it's ours." That would happen.
No, exactly.
in a second.
And the other side of it too, I look at it and it's just like, obviously the Switch has been selling like ridiculously well, and Nintendo's not like, oh, woe is me, Call of Duty. Like,
Nintendo don't give half of a fuck.
But I mean, they work well with Microsoft too. Like, they still get, Microsoft stuff, as Microsoft chooses. Yep. So it's not like Microsoft just holds all their stuff to themselves all the time.
They don't, and that's what doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. Even if this went through, Microsoft would still be number 3. They'd go up from number 5 to number 3. And guess who would be in front of them? It would be Sony and Tencent. The two people that are like, they would have an unfair advantage. Bitch, you're still going to have the advantage after this goes through. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, it doesn't make any plausible sense to me other than it's just a whole bunch of bigwigs that are kicking their feet and throwing a tantrum. Like, it's really all it feels like.
Well, because Sony's advantage right now is it's not in the games or the hardware, it's in the court of popular opinion. And, obviously they've been doing really well there. because the PlayStation 5
well,
is
also
still
sales.
selling really
Their
well.
sales is their sales.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it's
number
selling
2,
well because of the popularity
right now.
But but it has nothing to do with their software.
No.
Yeah.
There's no games on the fucking system. So I mean, it's just it's a good advantage for Microsoft. Obviously, it's going to do really well for Game Pass when it goes through. But is it going to move those numbers on the other side of things? Not this generation. Maybe next generation.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Even so, it's like, all right, Sony, you talk about your exclusives, and you're all about exclusives and exclusives and exclusives, and now you're angry that someone might have an exclusive? Like, get the fuck over yourself. Like, seriously.
I think it's more so, to play devil's advocate, just the size of exclusives that they are. Because, like, I think we can all agree that, like, Call of Duty, Skyrim, Starfield, like, as far as exclusives go, are bigger name titles than whatever Sony has shit out in the last, like, year or so.
What about the $10 million they spent
What about God of War? What about God of War that just came out like 2 weeks ago? That huge fucking game that sold so well. That's a literal Sony exclusive.
What do you mean?
Well, you're talking about exclusives, and I was like, we can also go with first party exclusives. So
yeah, but I'm saying, like, for them, like, they don't release God of War every year. Like, there's a new Call of Duty every year. You know what I mean?
And new Call of Duties every year aren't good. Like, some people are like, I'm gonna wait till the next one.
No, you're right, they're not. But guess what? They still get bought up anyways. It doesn't fucking matter.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I mean, like, maybe that I understand it in that sense, right? Is they're buying a lot of star power with Activision and Blizzard, because like not only are they buying that, but like they're getting console exclusive for most likely Diablo. Obviously Overwatch 2 doesn't matter; it's on everything.
It'll probably be the first time we ever see World of Warcraft on a console if that acquisition goes through.
That is true.
But otherwise, I do agree that it's mostly Sony kicking and screaming about, they shouldn't be allowed to do this, blah, 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 blah. But
I guess I would also point to Sony was like, by the way, did you know we now have exclusive rights to this game for 2 years, for 1 year, for 6 months, and they were doing that during the start of the acquisition. Like they announced Final Fantasy 16 will be exclusive to the Sony PlayStation 5 for I think it was 8 months, or is it a year? I don't remember which one it was. Yeah, it's something like that, and they're like, that's an exclusive, and they're like, and we have these exclusive things for Call of Duty. It's an exclusive, and we have this exclusive thing for this. It's exclusive. It's like exclusive this, exclusive that, exclusive this, exclusive that. And someone's like, listen, we're gonna have the game. It'll belong to us. You can still sell the game on your system for like 10 years. And then they're like, no. But meanwhile, it's like, we're going to make everything exclusive to us for like 2 years, for like a year, and this, that, and the other. That's what's really hurting their argument, because of the fact that they are just grabbing up games and not buying the studio, but buying the rights to keeping the game on their system for like 1 or 2 years.
Well, I feel like
that is actually very harmful, especially for like first year sales. People are more likely to shell out for a console to play that game right as it releases. And I think they have a bigger leg up in the industry because of doing things like that. I actually think that's even scummier than just buying the entire fucking studio.
I also do feel like...
Oh, sorry, Nick.
I know, I was going to say, I feel like... Oh, man, I just completely lost my train of thought, didn't I? Come back to me.
Okay. But I was going to say, but on the other side of the coin, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is what Nick was going to say too, maybe. But when Microsoft's buying the stuff, they're still keeping it on PC. So, I mean, it does keep it accessible to so many people.
That's kind of akin to what I was going to say. What I was going to say was, I remember now, is like, I feel like if Sony wasn't being as difficult as they're being now, then maybe Microsoft would be more willing to work with them about getting, like, the bigger franchises onto PlayStation. Like, maybe, like the next Elder Scrolls or Starfield or whatever will have more exclusive content for Xbox, which I think is to be expected. I mean, like, that was already a thing with Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas and all that shit. But I think if, like, Sony was like, all right, cool, we're not going to challenge this, but just, like, can we just make sure that we have, a decent deal for these games to make it to our consoles, I think they would have been cool about it. I think it's mostly Sony, like, just digging their heels into the sand and wanting to kind of keep that old, like, tribal war going between consoles where like it doesn't fucking matter anymore.
It really doesn't. Yeah,
I think it's a lot of it is they know it's going to go through, and they're just trying to
delay it as much as humanly possible.
Well, trying to delay it and trying to get as much out of it as they can. Like they're just trying to milk it, be like, "Oh no, we want free things."
Yeah.
Like it's
so let me give you an example of like something real quick. So this one's obviously a smaller title and everything, but it's actually really good, and I'll talk about it later on when I've played more of it. Rollerdrome, which was a small little title by the Ollie Ollie developers, that was a Sony exclusive that came out this year. Upcoming, Forspoken, game may look really bad, but several people are super excited for that. That's a Sony exclusive. Final Fantasy 16, like I said, that is a timed exclusive. It does say, I think 6 months. I think it's actually 6 months, so not even a year. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the next iteration of Final Fantasy VII, is a exclusive to PlayStation 5 of all things. Not even in like old PS4. It's only PS5 now. So you've got that, and then you've got Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic again. A exclusive if it ever gets made now.
I was like, if that's coming out.
Indefinite delay, but yeah. When you look at those games, 2 of those are Square Enix games. One of those is an indie dev. No, 3 of those are Square Enix games. One of those is an indie dev.
I'll also say, I'll just say there is a very heavy rumor that you should take with an entire container of salt.
Is it about them buying Square Enix?
No, it's about at the Game Awards, a remake for the original Metal Gear Solid will be announced.
Yeah, I've heard about that rumor. Yep, I have heard about that one.
So, which I think, honestly, would be a bigger deal than the whole acquisition, honestly, because one, a dead franchise is coming back to life, and then 2, you're getting a remake of it exclusively for one console. So
yep. I mean, it's just dumb. I think Sony realizes that they don't have the ability, like they don't have any of the studios that can make first-person shooters, and first-person shooters push consoles. Well, so they're really afraid of that.
They just decide not to use them for that.
That's true. Yes.
Like, I'm sorry, pre-PlayStation 4, Killzone was great.
Yeah.
That game series was great. Yep. Fucking Insomniac Games has made some
even
of the best
Vita,
shooters.
Even the Vita one was really good.
Insomniac not only made
one of the best.
Resistance, which I thought Resistance was very good towards the tail end of the series as well.
But
they also made Sunset Overdrive, which is great. So, like, you have studios in-house that can do this.
But Sony's kind of fallen on their, we do one thing really well, and that's all we want to make now, movies. Which is, we want to make movies. Exactly.
Like, I would be happier than a pig in shit for, like, a Resistance reboot.
Yep.
Shit. Reboot fucking, or make a new studio to take over the SOCOM shit.
Oh god, that would be so good.
Make a new studio fucking, hey, remember how you guys are way too quick to the fucking Battle Royale genre with MAG? Try it again.
Oh my god.
You were so close.
So good.
You were close. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, they have the ability. They're like, no, we're too busy on making, the same game 30 times.
MAG wasn't really a Battle Royale, though. MAG was more about last team standing. It was
that was more like
Chrome Hounds
ground and like,
or PlanetScape. You ever play Planet? Yeah. Is it PlanetScape? Is that the one I'm thinking of? PlanetSide? It might be PlanetSide.
Might be PlanetSide, yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, I think they have
so good.
They have the IPs, right, that are known to a lot of people, like for first-person shooters. Like, they can make first-person shooters. They might not make something that rivals Call of Duty just because of the sheer popularity of Warzone and all that. But, I mean, you can make something better than Battlefield. I know that for a fact.
I did want to mention one other thing, because we're talking about exclusives and everything, and I thought about a Sony exclusive, and I thought about something else. We were talking about the Callisto Protocol earlier, and how it was kind of not fully realized. I heard it described this way, and I think it's the best way it was described. The Callisto Protocol is this generation's Order 1886.
I've heard that.
And it just made me think of that because of all this exclusives and everything.
But I never played the Order 1886, so I couldn't...
It's a very pretty game, and there's not much else to it.
What studio made that?
Sony, Santa Monica, I think.
Really?
I think so.
One of the Sony ones.
You know what's funny? I remember when that trailer came out. I was Ready at Dawn.
Ready at Dawn? What? right.
I remember
sure,
when that trailer was first shown off, and like the trailer seemed really fucking cool. Then I saw Ready at Dawn's logo. I was like, "Yo, this shit's gonna smack." And then the game came out, and it was fucking hot dookie.
It's not that it's bad; it's just that it's nothing. It's like a whole bunch of nothing. That's the biggest issue.
What has Ready at Dawn done lately?
Lone Echo.
They've been doing VR games. They're doing VR games. Are they not a part? Oh, Oculus acquired Ready at Dawn.
Yep.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
That's why Lone Echo and Lone Echo 2 are so fucking incredibly graphically intensive.
Wow, I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I guess I missed that. Their God of War games are all pretty solid.
Yeah, they're pretty alright.
That's crazy. Huh. Well, I learned something today.
There you go. What a great way to learn things.
Yeah.
Fundamental.
Anyways, ready to move on to the next news story?
Yeah, sure.
I think I wrote this down, didn't I?
Yeah.
First party, actually speaking of all the murder shit, first party Microsoft games are going to increase in price to $70.
Mm-hmm.
So that's including Starfield if that comes out this year.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think that's still... Does that slate for this month?
No, Starfield's next year. It was delayed.
Okay, I guess I forgot about it. Delayed. So yeah, Starfield's going to be $70. The next Forza is going to be $70. Redfall. So yeah, basically from now on, all their games will be $70, which may or may not be an issue depending on how you use your Xbox. It wouldn't be for me because I mostly stay subscribed to Game Pass.
Same. Yeah, it doesn't really bother me that much.
Physical media anyway. So, well, it also applies to digital, but I just use Game Pass before I bought anything digital.
I agree.
So that might be, that might be bad for some people, but I think for the most part, if you're in that ecosystem, you should just be using Game Pass. It's kind of like silly not to be on Game Pass. Even if you don't have an Xbox, just fucking, and like a good enough PC, just use Game Pass.
Yeah, I really do think... So, here's the thing. I stream weekly. I haven't for a while because of everything that's been going on with my computer and whatnot. But I find that Game Pass makes it so easy to do a variety stream every week because there's always something new coming out on Game Pass or something new you can find on Game Pass to play. And I think that's one of my favorite things about Game Pass is that there's just always something new there. So, yeah.
100%. So, yep, that's that. Next piece of news came out, I think it was Sunday, I saw the article. Jeff Keighley promises that the VGAs, which is happening on Thursday, I mean, at the time of this recording, it already have happened, or this coming out, it would already have happened.
Yeah.
Promises that it will be shorter than past years. Which, god damn it, I hope so, because I'm pretty sure, like, every year it's 3.5 hours long.
Yeah, it was nearly 4 hours last year.
Yeah.
So that's, like, insane.
Like, I don't know if that clunkiness comes from his obsession with... Let me just get real close. World premieres. Or if that's, like... what that's exactly from. I mean, the performances, I guess, can be okay. I don't think we need, like, 30 of them.
Yeah.
But, like, my problem
this year
is...
we better get a performance from Metal Hellsingers.
That'd be cool.
Someone from it, because holy shit is Metal Hellsinger easily best soundtrack this year.
I think mostly, again, my problem with the whole Game Awards thing is that, like, they will just burn through awards, right? When, again, it's touted as being a night for the developers to celebrate everything that they've done. They will just blow through, like, 20 different, like, awards that they deem not important in, like, the pre-show. And then, like, get to the main show. And, like, most of it will be filled with, like, advertising for these games getting announced. So, like, I feel like what they should do, if they haven't done it already for this year, is, like, to get people to watch the pre-show, be like, hey, we're going to be doing a good amount of announcements in the pre-show.
So
we'll save all the biggies for the actual show.
They actually do that during the pre-show. See, it was like 4 hours long last year, and during the pre-show, there were actually a bunch of announcements. They hold the big announcements for the main show. They actually have more announcements than what they normally show. if you watch the pre-show as well.
Yeah,
it's stupid. It's stupid long.
So like, I don't know if it's necessary to announce new games at the Game Awards, like on that, how frequently that is. Like, I think if anything, right, you should have maybe like a handful of biggies, right, and then that's it. If you want to announce games,
I want to agree with you, but most people only watch this for the new announcements. Like, that's what a lot of people's trend has become, and because of that, I think it's really hard to get away from that.
Well, then Jeff Keighley needs to look in the mirror and stare back at his failures.
I think what he needs to do is maybe split them up and have an actual awards show one night, and then have a premiere show maybe later on towards the end of the December.
Yeah.
That might be a better idea. So you can have two of those. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
That would be the smarter thing to do, because they have so much shit that they announce every year that by the end of it, you have a lot of stuff that gets overshadowed. You have a lot of stuff that gets overshadowed in the actual experience itself, that experience being the actual awards, and it really just causes the whole thing to look like a gigantic mess.
And like I said, like my main gripe, right? I couldn't imagine being a developer for any game, big or small, and like your award that maybe you win was decided as a not so important one, so just like briefly just like, oh, and they get this. Like, to me, that's even though I just won something, that's like so defeating.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know.
I agree.
That's just me. So that's happening on Thursday. I'll be watching that with most of my friends. It's usually a nice little event that we do every year.
I always say I'm not going to watch it, and then I end up watching it.
You have to watch it, if not for the fuck ups. You know what I mean?
Maybe this year will be the year where Jeff Keighley gets it just right.
I doubt it. But so that's happening. And of course, as always, temper your expectations. But also,
I feel like we've gone from Jeff Keighley legitimately made a decent award show a few years back. Like, you remember when he brought the Game Awards back, and we were like, "Wow, he actually did a really good job." It was like kind of pulled back and subdued, and it actually felt like an award show with some little things sprinkled in there.
Job? I think we just thought that he's always just been doing a marginal.
No. When he brought it back, and we were like, wow, this isn't riddled with ads. This isn't this, that, and the other. What I'm trying to get to, and my point is, as the award show of the Game Awards has gone on, and he's continued to make it, it feels like it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and becomes more like the game trailers or the IGN Game Awards show, where it was like, yeah, I had to get away from those because it was just too ad-ridden and it was getting bloated and everything. It almost feels like Jeff Keighley has literally single-handedly proven that it was his fault that it got so bloated in the first place, because now this award show is done entirely by him and by the people he knows in the industry, and it's funded by him, as well as the ads that he now has tied to it.
Yeah.
And every year it seems to get more and more like those big award shows like we used to have that were just so bloated and just garbage, and by the end of them everyone's like, this sucks.
It's not as bad. Like, I remember watching the Spike VGAs. That shit was a train wreck. So, like, it's not as bad as that.
We're getting there. We're
definitely on that route.
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. It almost feels like it's going down that route.
I will say,
and it gets worse every year.
We are in the neighborhood of Spike VGAs. I don't know if we'll ever arrive there, because the people who are doing this actually give a shit, whereas
I'm waiting for Chick Hydra, man. Once we get there, it's all downhill.
Oh, once I see an anthropomorphic chick glide, then I'll be like, all right, Brandon, we've made it. We've arrived at our destination. But until then, it's like we're in the town. I just think he's lost. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know how long. I'm gonna pay attention to the runtime, because that's always a complaint of mine. I will say the first couple years were like fine. Like, I remember the first couple being like rocky, and then like after like the third or fourth one, I was like, all right, it seems like he kind of knows what he's doing now.
Yep.
And then, like, in more recent years, it seems like it's kind of going off the rails a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping this is a course correction instead of a deviation. But we shall see. So
I'm worried that we've got that deviation coming up.
I mean, who knows, man? We could not.
True.
So, do you guys have anything else to talk about with that? The only
other thing I was going to say is it reminded me of this meme that I saw earlier this week, which it looks like it's an old meme anyways. But is that IGN video it's like esports by Coca-Cola, where they did a video that's like, are esports too dependent on corporate sponsorship or whatever?
Yeah.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola. Oh my god.
Coca-Cola.
So that just reminded me of that. But yeah. No,
Great.
I think that's all with the VGAs. Hopefully it's good this year. I mean, I think at least in terms of their nominations, they're more on point this year, but we'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah. So.
And actually, there's one last thing I want to say about the VGAs. You know what would make that thing better? They need to nuke all the bullshit, out of there.
Oh, yeah.
All the esports stuff needs to go. All the content creator stuff needs to go. Nobody gives a shit about it. And I can't imagine those people are giving you any, sponsorship dollars either. So just
I'm about to say
right out of there.
We just had the streamies that just happened where those same content creators got recognized.
Yeah.
The esports shit I feel is cool, but I feel if an esports team won something that year, that's could you imagine if for a second, right? Imagine the NFL. Right, they have their entire season. Super Bowl happens, team wins. Could you imagine an award show after that, where they honored each team for best catcher of ball? You know what I mean? It's stupid.
Maybe Golden Globes or whatever, being oh, you know what? We have some great TV stuff we want to talk about.
Oh my god, I would laugh my ass off because it makes so much sense the way you're explaining it. Yeah, just have the Golden Globes be all right, so we'd like to bring up the best football player who definitely played his part on the TV this year.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
No.
This year's Gatorade Thirst Quencher Award goes to San Francisco 49ers Gatorade man. So.
I mean, it's just because it has to do with it doesn't mean it should be at the awards.
Exactly.
I really hope the name of this episode is this year's Gatorade Thirst Quencher.
I probably wouldn't make it that long. It'll probably just be Gatorade Thirst Quencher.
Good job, little Johnny. You were the Thirst Quencherest. You did a great job.
The Thirstquencherest.
Yeah. So 100% that whole last row. Well, maybe not the whole last row because there's most anticipated, which maybe that shouldn't be an award. That should just be an ongoing poll throughout the Game Awards. Whereas at the end, before the Game of the Year gets announced, we're hey, this is what you guys voted.
I want to see if community votes still being crushed by Sonic. I'm gonna go check that out.
Can we also cut out best? Where is it at? Ongoing game.
I don't know.
It's the same 4 games every year.
It really is, but they are ongoing. That they're showing up and doing what they're supposed to.
The best ongoing game brought to you by Energizer.
That's me getting the award for taking the biggest shit in my own house. You know what I mean? It's always gonna be me. It's just silly. So
it's always gonna be me.
Yeah,
that's fair. That is actually fair. Anyway, I voted for Sonic Frontiers again. Let's go.
Listen,
Player's
Sonic
voice,
Sweet, baby. Let's go.
Sonic Sweet. Let's go.
Oh wait, let me do my due diligence real quick.
Daily Sonic Frontiers vote. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
Sonic Sweet.
Sonic Frontiers is for men. Genshin Impact is for boys.
Listen, it's Genshin Impact is leading out of God of War and Ragnarok. We can beat it with Sonic.
Wait, what is it again? What
Player's voice. Player's voice.
Player's voice. Where is that? Hold on, I'm lost in this whole fucking.
It's at the very top next to nominees. It's the second thing after nominees.
Oh no, I'm in the whole category.
No. Just go to the main site, and then you see at the top the orange bar. It says jury, nominees, and then player's voice.
There we go.
There you go. There it is. Vote for that Sonic. Let's get it in there.
Sign in to vote.
Please, Mike, help us. Don't let Genshin Impact win. That's the game for people that should be in prison.
Fuck the weebs. Team kill. A team kill on the weebs.
Team kill on the weebs. Let's go.
Where do we have an ongoing number here?
No, but the votes that were posted the other day was God of War was at 9, Elden Ring was at 9, Sonic was at 7, Genshin Impact was at 7.
Sonic has to do is beat Genshin, that's it.
Exactly.
Anyway, Are you guys ready for the last thing?
Yeah.
So I'm going to give a very TLDR version of this because it's a lot. And we honestly don't even know who's 100% at fault here. I have an idea of who's at fault, but rather what caused it, I guess, would be the better way to go about it. So, ending, I think, of last year, it was Panda, the esports company, team, whatever you want to call them, announced jointly with Nintendo they were holding a Smash World Tour, which was a completely Nintendo-sanctioned, funded, and sponsored event.
Yep.
Between Nintendo and Panda. It was going to be happening across, I think, like not only like the U.S. but like the world. Because Smash World Tour, that makes sense. Actually, as I'm talking,
exactly. Yeah.
So events were happening all around the world. These events had prize pools, and they were qualifiers for the larger events, so on and so forth, leading up to the end of this year, which was going to end, I think, at the Panda Cup, which now is like postponed indefinitely, due to the sudden cancellation of the Smash World Tour. Statements have been made by both Nintendo and Panda as to what happened. And originally, Panda was saying that Nintendo is the one that canceled it. They're forcing us to cancel, blah, 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 blah. And then Nintendo responded back by saying, in a formal statement, that they did not. They had no... Basically, they didn't want to cancel it. They had no intentions of canceling it. It was a very corporate response because, like, they obviously they don't want like mudsling Panda or anything like that. But basically, it was they did not ask Panda to cancel the tournament.
Well, wait, hold on. Isn't it the Smash World Tours that canceled the tournament?
So Smash World Tour is the tournament series being run by Panda and sponsored by Nintendo. Panda randomly announced that last week Smash World Tour was canceled.
Oh, okay.
The whole tour. I guess I missed that. I apologize.
Then what's the other group then?
What do you mean? There's a lot of groups.
There's a lot of groups.
I thought there was. So maybe I just completely misunderstood the story. Because I thought there was two competing groups. There was Panda, and then there was the other group. And then the other group was trying to get like sponsors, and Panda was like, "Don't sponsor them."
No, okay, no. So Panda threatened people. Like, they just straight up threatened them. They said it sure would be a shame if Nintendo had to get involved in this event, and they might shut it down, because they were trying to get people to join Panda instead of doing their own thing.
Correct.
Because Smash World Tour is its own thing, if I recall correctly.
Okay,
and
that's
Panda
what I thought. I didn't think that was a Panda thing.
Part in it.
Yeah,
Panda
so
was just...
Smash World Tour... I know exactly what you're talking about now. You're talking about VGBCs, Video Game Boot Camp.
Yes.
So Video Game Boot Camp is actually the people who run SmashCon that I go to every year. And they were also jointly running Smash World Tour, I guess more so as a equipment supplier, I guess. They were, from what I've heard, right, that Smash World Tour was its own thing, but Panda wanted them to join up with them, and just straight up said, well, if you aren't going to let me be part of this in like some kind of fashion where they got money or something, they were basically holding the entire event hostage. They straight up said, I might have to contact my people over at Nintendo to get this unsanctioned event shut down, which is what happened, supposedly. So it was, three different people. It was Panda, VGBC, and Nintendo. And from what's coming out so far is that basically Panda for the last year has been threatening people and threatening sponsors and things of that nature. Basically holding the entirety of Smash World Tour above people's heads. If they didn't play ball, then they were going to cancel it. And... don't know what happened behind the scenes because nothing has been really said about that yet, but for whatever reason, Panda decided to cancel it. And in the aftermath of that, the CEO of Panda has now stepped down. A lot of their content team has now stepped down. Some of their players have left the organization.
80%. 80% of Panda's players have left.
So I would not be surprised if Panda as a thing is just kind of
done.
Just done. Mostly because, too, like, prior to Smash World Tour and all this other shit, they had done some other shady shit as well.
They were known for bullying people into.
Well, they were known for bullying
Panda.
people, but they also like straight up were like stealing from people. Mm-hmm. So Panda had a couple of things that they were in development of. One was a GameCube adapter. The other one was a GameCube controller reproduction. Both of which they openly funded for and took people's money and then never delivered on a final product, which is obviously very shitty. Yeah, so there's a lot going on right now with this. There's been 2 statements delivered so far from Panda, one from Nintendo, and then one from VGBC, basically saying that they don't know how they're going to continue as a company, because basically any of the money that they were getting for Smash World Tour is now gone.
Well, and they were putting a lot. Update on that.
They were putting a lot of obviously time, effort, money, and like manpower into it because VGBC, for those of you who don't know, are one of the largest companies kind of in the Smash, professional Smash game. They run Glitch, which I go to. Like I said, they run Super Smash Con, which I go to. And they also are involved in a lot of other events. So this was a big hit for them. But Brandon, you said you had something?
Yeah, so you hear about Ludwig?
Yeah, Ludwig is doing a tournament basically in their benefit.
The Scuffed World Tour, where he invited the 8 top players from Melee and Switch Smash. Is that correct? $50,000 prize pool, and all money that is raised for the event will go towards VGBC.
Yeah, I think people seem to forget that he started out with Smash.
I didn't know that actually.
So. Yeah, Ludwig started out as a Melee player streamer. Mm-hmm. So, because he not too long ago had like a large scale tournament too.
Yeah, I mean, he did the Drunk Mario Kart tournament also. Ludwig seems pretty chill. I like Ludwig. That's why him being on the content creator of the year for the VGAs is the only one I voted for.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, as far as I know, he's not very problematic, but who knows? Mm-hmm. So back in October, he did Ludwig Smash Invitational, where it was basically Melee and Ultimate. And that one was kind of funny, too, because the sponsor for that one backed out the last minute, and then Mr. Beast was like, I want to sponsor it.
Jacksepticeye is apparently sponsoring this one. Yeah. So, there you go.
So it's a whole mess. Funny enough, one of the people who hasn't left Panda yet is like the most hated person from Panda, which is Esam, who is a professional Ultimate player. He plays Pikachu and Samus, which infuriates me to no end because I also play Pikachu and Samus. So whenever I tell people that, they're like, "Oh, you should watch Esam." I'm like, "No, fuck him. He's a piece of shit." So just a lot going on, and unfortunately, this is more than just obviously Smash World Tour getting canceled. Mm-hmm. This is like obviously Nintendo recognizing any sort of professional competition with a game is a huge deal, but like to have them financially in on the largest scale Smash tournament in the world, and then to have it basically like shit on because of greed, like just is so detrimental to the entirety of the scene. It's detrimental to the entire professional league, and it's, it just gives everything kind of a bad rap, because now it's like, well, if Panda did that, then who's to say the next person to approach us doesn't do the same thing? Yeah. So it's very unfortunate.
The Panda's announcement too, just kind of, it was so weirdly worded.
Yeah.
Like it was like, our CEO stepped down, but it doesn't explicitly say that he left Panda. Like,
that's another thing. And he apparently owns it. So
he still owns Panda, and he's still involved with Panda. He's just not the acting CEO.
I saw
that really doesn't seem like anything.
I saw someone tweet out that this just seems like damage control and nothing more, because legitimately, since he owns Panda, they can't really do anything about him. And if he does still own it, him stepping down as CEO doesn't mean anything. He could still just shadow operate it from behind, So.
So basically, Panda is now the Bayonetta 3 voice actress of the Smash World.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah, so it's super unfortunate, but like like you said, like the way it's worded, their statement is very much so that he is no longer the acting CEO, but it doesn't say that he is out of Panda, which realistically, like, he could not be out of Panda if he physically owns it. Mm-hmm. So, and even if like Panda survived this whole thing, like, who would trust him again?
Yeah, no, nobody. I would hope not, at least.
Yeah. So, the situation is what it is. It's very unfortunate because, like I said, Panda is unfortunately one of the juggernauts in the professional Smash scene, and a lot of who you see as like the face, the commentators, the players, and whatnot, like, are from that. Obviously, there's other teams. There's Liquid. There's not Fox is gone. The one that MK Leo's on, I forget. I think he's on T9 or whatever it is now. But there's a lot of other professional teams involved in Smash and everything. But like, I would venture and say none on the level of Panda. So like, it's just a mess, and it's a very unfortunate happening. So.
Damn, Ludwig's sponsoring 2 fucking events in like very upcoming. Have you seen his fucking chess event?
No.
It's a chess and boxing tournament. You play a game of chess, the loser then starts boxing the winner immediately after the game of chess. They just come in, they take the board up, and then they immediately start fighting each other in a boxing ring. And then whoever wins gets the advantage and goes into the next game. It's a best of 3.
Oh my god.
This sounds amazing. I want to see this.
I love that. So yeah, it's a whole shit situation. I expect more things to come out in the coming weeks. But as for now, unfortunately, Smash World Tour is no more. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like, as somebody who operates competitive Smash from a local level, if you're somebody who's listening to this and like, about all this stuff, like, the best way for like the actual scene to bounce back is just by supporting your own local orgs and going to your locals and just giving them your time and your effort, because like those are the people that actually do give a shit. I will say from my own personal experience, like, my org does not make a lot of money. We don't do it to make money. We do it to provide a place for people to come safely play the game that they love amongst other people. So the fact that a company would kind of go throw that away and just go for, just complete and utter selfishness for money is like disgusting to me. But that's more personal for me. Mm-hmm. It's very frustrating.
I definitely agree. It's kind of shit.
But yeah, so that's all I kind of know from the situation so far. And like I said, if I hear anything else, I'll be sure to bring it up in future episodes.
Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Probably not.
No, not really.
Okay. Y'all ready to wrap up then?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for listening to us tonight. Don't forget to find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. We also have our website, game-crunch.com, which has all our old episodes there. If you want to reach out to us, we're on Facebook, Twitter, or you can send us an email at gamecrunchcast@gmail.com. Brandon, any final thoughts?
Nah, I'm good.
Nick?
I do.
What?
Shocker. I know. So I recently got a new promotion at my job to customer. So I have a lot of free time on my hands. So in the coming days, weeks, I will be streaming again on Twitch. What I'll be streaming, I have no idea. But I will be posting the link to my Twitch probably a couple of times on the Facebook page, as well as my own personal Twitter account at The Mechanic. And I'll be on Twitch, twitch.tv/pepperonichan_. Mm-hmm. I might play some Splatoon. I think that's what I might start with. I was going to play Pokemon, but I finished that. So maybe I'll do Arceus. Who knows? Or I could do, I don't know. I never finished Sword and Shield, so I could do a dry run of Sword and Shield. So
that's true too.
Keep an eye out for that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. My name is Mike Anastasia. You can find me online. I'm Clash of Penguin. And until next week, game on.
Game on.
Video games.
They're doing a Smash boxing tournament also at the same chess boxing tournament.
As
the
they
game
should.
of Smash and then boxing.
You know how great it would be if it was like, all right, you guys I just lost my game of Smash right now. You got to fight each other. I'm winning.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm fucking winning.
Amazing. And one of my favorite content creators is actually doing the chess part of the chess boxing. Chris abroad in Japan's doing it. If you know who that is. If you don't know him, he's really good, and you should check out his shit. He's very entertaining. He's like a snarky British guy who lives in Japan and was a teacher at one point, and most of his videos are like, yeah, so this is what people think Japan is like. Yeah, you're fucking stupid. This is what it's actually like.
Very good.